No, I know what I need to say. Hi there, my name is Valerie Rudd, and I'm here today to talk to you about the importance of respecting the right of other individuals to live and believe as they please, and how doing so will promote contentment within society. Suppose you have strong religious beliefs and I tell you you're wrong for believing in God, or say you don't believe in God and I treat you differently because I think you should believe in God. Each of us has our own unique beliefs and lifestyles that make us happy. We wouldn't want anybody to take that happiness from us. So by respecting the right of other individuals to live and they believe as they please, that we would want them to show to us, promotes a better environment for all. I've been guilty in my life of being intolerant of the choices and lifestyles that other people have had. But over the last few years, I've gradually alleviated my concern with the way other people choose to live their lives, and it's a liberating feeling. So today we're going to talk about how all individuals have the legal and human right to live and believe as they please. And to help better understand this concept, we're going to talk about some common differences that we have in beliefs and lifestyles. We're going to talk about some factors that make us not respect the rights of others, and we're going to talk about why it's important to respect the rights of others to live and believe as they please. So let's start with some common differences that we have in beliefs and lifestyles. Religion is the most obvious. It's the most controversial usually too. And the reason this is controversial is because an individual's religious beliefs are very sacred to them. So in understanding this, think about how sacred your religious beliefs and your religious values are to you. And recognize that other individuals, just because they don't believe different than you, doesn't mean that their beliefs and convictions aren't as strong. So by extending that same respect to individuals, we can diffuse some of the emotions that we have surrounding other individuals disagreeing with us. Religious and spiritual beliefs also have an influence on other areas in our life that don't necessarily relate directly to religion. For instance, homosexuality, your views on gun control, abortion, dress standards, or even recreational activity are some areas that folks have a tendency to differ on. Political positions and agendas are another common area that we see every day where individuals don't agree. You see in the media oftentimes where you've got Democrats versus Republicans. And we have a tendency when somebody doesn't agree with our political opinion to take this as a personal attack or make it a personal issue. Well, try and diffuse this by recognizing that by even taking a stance, these individuals are concerned with the betterment of society and their fellow citizens. So also remember that it's okay to discuss political issues intelligently without emotion, or it's okay to disagree or not even discuss these issues at all. Other areas are cultural and social positions, where maybe the way someone wants to celebrate or spend their leisure time to include the consumption of alcohol, the presence of violence or nudity. Some folks don't believe this is right, and that's okay. But it's not okay to impose your beliefs on others or not respect others' rights to not want those things in their life. Also, how we view relationships. People often impose their beliefs on individuals' relationship status, whether you have premarital affairs, premarital cohabitation, homosexual relationships, or monogamous versus plural relationships. Try and remember that just because another individual chooses to live their life like this doesn't mean that you're subject to it. You don't have to agree that the way that they live is correct, but you should respect them as a human being and their right to live and believe as they choose. So we've talked about some of the common differences that we have in our lifestyles. Let's talk about some factors that lead us to be intolerant of others. Fear is a huge motivator that we have in human beings. When you don't understand something or you don't know something about somebody else, you have a tendency to feel the worst or expect very disastrous outcomes. We also have a tendency to feel that by accepting others and their right to live and believe as they choose, we're not being true to our rights, or that our rights will be infringed upon, or that will change society as a whole. Social conditioning is another area that as we're raised up, we're taught to believe what is right and wrong, what's good and what's bad, or what's acceptable and not acceptable. Oftentimes we can be taught that it's not okay to allow others to live and believe as they choose. So now that we've talked about some factors that influence whether or not we believe that it's, some factors that lead us to be intolerant of others, let's talk about the importance of allowing others to live and believe as they please. When we impose our views on other individuals and we expect them to live as us, it can build walls and create and put wedges between us as individual people and as groups in society. and this can create suspicion and push us away from each other, further increasing our knowledge of each other and perpetuating our fear of the unknown. Each individual is entitled to happiness and to live and believe as they choose without the imposition and pressures of other folks. When we find ourselves imposing our views on people, this takes up our energy and our time and can make us become frustrated and feel feelings of unhappiness and stress. So, think back to a time where you, as an individual, have felt an intolerance towards somebody or you disagree with them in their beliefs, and think about the emotional and physiological feelings that you have had, and is it all worth it? So it's not to say that you shouldn't discuss your beliefs or your views on other people, but do it with an open mind. Do it with the fact that you respect people as an individual, and it only becomes dangerous when you become intolerant or judge people or treat them differently. So let's sum it all up. Today we've talked about differences in beliefs and lifestyles. We've talked about factors that can lead us to be intolerant, and we've talked about why it's important to be tolerant and respect the rights of others. So while it's easy for us as individuals to determine how we think all people should live and how other people should live, ask yourself these questions. What impact does it have on me, or does it really concern me? What difference does it make to me, or why do I care how another person decides to believe or live? And what gives me the right to decide what's right or wrong? So I challenge each of you to let go of some negative feelings you may have towards another individual based on your differences and beliefs. And I challenge you to increase your efforts and your thoughts of acceptance and see if it doesn't lead to more happiness in your life and happiness to others around you. So thank you very much. Good luck to everybody else. How long was it?
6:40. Just hit the little red button.
Yep.